Is there a way to avoid New York City's dreaded congestion pricing? Well, unbuckle your seatbelt because we're going to explore the ins and outs of this new pricing structure while I ride into Manhattan on one of your congestion pricing alternatives on Metro North train. What exactly is congestion pricing? Basically, it's a toll system designed to reduce traffic in busy areas of New York City by charging drivers a fee to enter certain zones during peak hours. As of January 5th, 2025, vehicles entering the congestion relief zone, which is any street at or below 60th Street, will be charged a toll of $9. And that rate is only if you have an Easy Pass. Otherwise, it is a $13.50 toll. It is important to note that this toll applies during peak hours, which during the week is from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And if it's not peak time, then your Easy Pass rate is $2.25 per entry, and your non-Easy Pass rate is $3.30 per entry. Now, congestion pricing is really only new to New York City, well, and America, because this is the first city in the country to have implemented a congestion toll. However, our friends across the pond implemented a congestion toll in 2003 in London, and Singapore has been tolling car traffic since the 1970s. It doesn't mean that charging a consumer is the best option, especially if you are someone who likes to use ride shares. Well, actually, if you are someone who likes to use ride shares, you might want to think twice. If you live somewhere like Yonkers or the Bronx and you typically like to ride share in and out of the city, you're going to be looking at a new fee. So instead of selecting no conversation, you might want to select drop me off at 61st Street. The good news is that the tolls for ride shares are reduced from $13.50 to 75 cents per ride for taxis and $1.50 per ride for Uber or Lyft. But the bad news is that there is already another fee you're paying to use ride shares in Manhattan, and that's before you leave a tip. So all in all, you're looking at a cost of a subway ride or more just in fees, aside from your actual cost of a rideshare. And to note, this is a flat rate congestion fee, no matter what time of day you rideshare in and out of the city. Not to mention that the cost of a rideshare is inconsistent, so you might want to think twice before relying on it as an affordable option for getting into the city. So what's the best solution to avoid paying a toll if it's not a rideshare? Well, trains might become your best friend. I'm currently on the Metro North New Haven line, which is used by hundreds of commuters every day to get from Connecticut and outside Manhattan into Grand Central. And if you're in Jersey, you can hop on the good old New Jersey Transit, and we can't forget about the beloved LIRR, also known as the Long Island Railroad. Both of these lines take you into Penn Station, and the Long Island Railroad now has some routes that also take you directly into Grand Central, which are really great spots to enter the city at. There are tons of express subway lines directly in these stations, and Penn Station and Grand Central are both walking distance from a lot of tourist attractions. Not to mention that some of these lines also now have stops in Harlem and One World Trade, which give you more options for planning your trip into the city. But is taking the train really cheaper than just sucking it up and paying the toll? All right, it's time for some quick maths.
Boom! 2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
So let's set the scene. You and 3 friends want to have a big soiree in the Big Apple. So first, let's see what the cost would be for you to ride the train. Let's make our starting point one of the busiest train stations surrounding New York City, the Hicksville station on Long Island. From here, a peak ticket is $14.50. So let's times that by 4 for you and 3 friends to get a whopping $58. And obviously you need to get to the station, and Long Island isn't exactly walkable, so you have to park at the station, which is about $10 for the day. But don't forget, you also need gas to get to the train station. So let's say you live 5 miles away and you drive a car that gets on average 25 miles to the gallon. When you calculate that with the average cost of gas, you can add an extra 70 cents to the overall price, making your total cost for 3 friends plus you leaving from the Hicksville station $68.70. And that makes the cost per person $17.17 one way. Now, what if you drive? And we'll keep it fair. Let's route from Hicksville station to Penn Station so that it's exactly the same metrics and you still have 3 friends, making the calculation for 4 people total. Now for driving, you'll have a $6.94 toll to enter the city via the Queens Midtown Tunnel. Your cost of gas for a car getting about 25 miles to the gallon is $5.60, and the average cost to park at a garage in Manhattan near Penn Station is $40. Now, before you tell me that you can park on the street for free, it's not guaranteed and you cannot rely on it. So for the purpose of this exercise, you're parking in a garage. Okay, now we have to add the cost of our new friend, congestion pricing, which, say it with me, is $9 if and only if you have an Easy Pass. I'm going to assume that if you're watching this video, you do have an Easy Pass. Oh, and we almost forgot to add 70 cents for the gas to get you from your house to our starting point, the Hicksville train station, which brings your driving total to $62.24, which if you've been playing along, you know that the driving cost comes in at a lower cost per person at $15.56 one way, compared to the train cost, which is $17.17 one way. Okay, we know that driving is cheaper, but that does require you to have some friends to bring the cost down. So what are the true pros and cons of each method of transportation? The pros of taking the train. You'll end up right in either Grand Central or Penn Station with additional options to get off at Harlem, One World Trade, or Jamaica, depending on your line. These stations also have great access to subway lines, or you can easily walk to major tourist attractions from them. Another pro is that on the train, you can sleep, you can eat, you can read, you can play your Switch, you can even enjoy a little beverage, at least on Metro North. The cons of taking the train. You're relying on public transit, which in America can be unpredictable. It also can be crowded, which can be potentially uncomfortable depending on your needs. Now, the pros of driving. You have control over when you enter and leave the city. You'll be in the comfort of your own car, and you can lug large objects, which might be necessary if you perhaps need to bring a boat. The cons of driving. Good luck finding a spot and trying not to get a parking ticket. And if both of those are not on your side, then you'll be paying for a garage, which can be expensive. You also could end up in unpredictable traffic, which is just never fun. But the real question here today was, can you avoid congestion pricing? Technically, yes, but we're going to need to take a field trip. If you're looking to avoid this devious congestion toll while driving into the city, then here's what you need to do. You need to park right above 60th Street with the other toll trolls. Sorry to tell you, there is no secret way into the city. And if you're coming from anywhere that is south of 60th Street, then you will need to effectively drive past the city to make sure that you enter the city before the toll is in effect. Because apparently no one visits above here, 61st Street and up. And that is unless you're heading to the Upper West Side or the Upper East Side or Harlem. And if you're lucky enough to find a spot in the congestion-free zone, then we can do some quick maths, and I believe you just earned $9. So once you park, you can hop on the good old New York City subway or just use your chicken legs to prance around the Big Apple. Now $9 richer. And that just about wraps up our deep dive into New York City's newest toll. And I'd love to know, how are you traveling into New York City? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out. Bye for now. Taxi. Another taxi. Another taxi. Oh, what's that? Another taxi. This is investigative journalism.
Another taxi?
Another taxi? And before we saw a Rebel, maybe we'll see another. Oh wait, is that an Uber sign? Oh, that's an Uber sign. That's an Uber sign. That's also an Uber sign. You can see it in their window. They have like the registered like New York City driver. That's crazy. That is like at least like 5 to 10 cars that we've seen just on this block. Yeah. And we're at 61st Street, so. I'm just saying. Just saying. You can see those are the toll cameras. So I'm just saying, if you're coming down here, don't think you're hiding because they've got you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, 2 signs. You're paying the toll. So just get an Easy Pass. I don't know what to tell you. Surprise, it's me. I am hopping back in here real quick because I was just in a cab and we asked our cab driver, how the traffic has been since congestion pricing has started. And to, I guess, no one's surprise, he said the traffic has been so much better and that he's seen a real difference, which I just think is important to note because, I mean, he still had the same, I guess, frustrations or opinions that a lot of people have about how difficult the additional fares can be and how taxing it can be on people who need to get in and out of the city. But obviously, the whole purpose of the congestion pricing is to bring down that traffic and to kind of make it better to get around the city. And not for nothing, our cab rides today were so fast because we were filming some other videos and we were getting around the city pretty quickly with less traffic. So just wanted to make sure I put that note in there. Thanks. Bye.